Go.
Boy.
Yo, what's good, everybody? You're now tuned into Ill Vibe Theory, your number one source for underground hip-hop and R&B in the Las Vegas Valley. We are a listener supported by 91.5, The Rebel, HD2, KUMV Las Vegas, the broadcast service of UNLV, and we got a very special guest in the studio today. Shout out to Trade.
Voorhees, Vegas legend, Mike TV, Northtown. I'm excited. Thank you so much for coming. And if you guys didn't hear him a little bit earlier, that was definitely Trade.
Yeah,
that was definitely me.
And it sounded perfect. But no, thank you so much for coming out. We really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Definitely. But I just want to jump right into it. How's your day going, though, so far?
Yeah. It's going good. Today's going very swell so far. Yeah.
We got our model in here, Miss Amy.
Hey,
thank you for coming through as well.
Say hi.
Hi, how's it going?
What's going on?
Alrighty. So you just dropped your Untitled album, and I know that you talked to, I believe it was Vegas 7, about why you didn't give the tracks or the album a name. So can you elaborate a little bit on that, of why you chose not to title anything?
Yeah, definitely. Basically, to sum it up, I just wanted to give the freedom to the people who listen to the music, the opportunity to actually name it what they wanted, like what they feel, you know. I always felt like music gave a certain type of energy, and I think you kind of put stuff in a box when you start naming things and stuff like that. And I think that's what kind of bothered me about it was, you know, everything I was coming up with was kind of slamming it all in a box. And I was like, man, let's just let the music run free. And if people want to name it what they want to, if they don't like the song or whatever, they can name it something foul, or, you know, if they really like the song, they can name it something good, you know. But in the end, like, I just gave that freedom to the listeners, you know what I mean? Add the name to the painting as you will, you know. I'm just providing the painting itself, you know.
Nice. And even like when I was listening to it, I was like, is it just me, or did I just not get the names of the tracks before I realized that it was an Untitled album? And then I was just, you know, naturally you think maybe just the chorus of the song would be the title or things like that. So that's really interesting. I thought that was a cool take. And then if you could talk a little bit about your most recent Sunday Riot show. That performance looked crazy.
Oh, yeah.
If you could talk a little bit about that.
You're talking about with Bamboo.
Yes.
Yeah. Actually, I wasn't even supposed to be performing.
Really?
Yeah, I kind of just begged my way in there. Nah.
Trade Voorhees had to beg. I don't believe it.
Not at all. Really, I was there while they were setting up, and I kind of just talked to Dave about maybe doing a couple of songs, and Marion was cool with me coming in right after him, so, you know, Marion kind of introduced me into the situation, and, you know, I'm just kind of preparing myself for, you know, these couple of records that I feel will, you know, give the kind of energy I've always wanted to give the crowd. You know, I'm a very crowd, the crowd induces the energy that I like to see in a stage show, if you will. So, you know, I like to see the crowd energetic and vibing with me, and I think I just would love to see how it's going to be interesting to see how it pans out with this Ghostface show. That's coming out.
And that's what I'm going to get to a little bit later too. But I was upset that I didn't go to the performance, because I didn't even, like you were saying, I didn't know that you were performing. So how was the crowd's reaction when they actually saw you get up there?
Different. Yeah,
really?
Different. A little different than, I mean, I guess I've paved my own stage show over the years. But coming from like when I opened for like Schoolboy Q to like today, present day, man, my stage show has changed dramatically. I love the vibe we get now, you know, my interaction with the crowd and that connection that we have. That's what I love about making music, is connecting with the people that are listening to it wholeheartedly. And even if it's like the first time I've ever seen these people, or the first time they've ever seen me, you know, for the most part, I want them to have that same feeling, that same energy with the people that have been listening for years, you know what I mean? Like, wow, this guy can put on a show.
No, I'm sure they were excited since they weren't expecting you. So that's really cool.
Definitely.
And then like going into that, like for this Untitled album, you had a lot of merchandise. So you talked about like the t-shirts and the stickers, and everything's like selling out really fast. So if you could just talk about a little bit about that and why you wanted to put out so much merchandise.
This time around, to be honest with you, it's a funny story. There's this one fan I have that's from like Derry, New Hampshire.
That's so random.
Yeah. And in all honesty, I did a lot of this merching strictly for him. You know, he's pretty much one of the only people that, you know, as soon as it drops, like boom, it like his name is in my PayPal, like instantly, like anything.
Awesome.
And what I noticed is that he would buy like my album artwork and like pull it apart and stick it on his walls. And so I was like, dude, why don't I actually make a poster for this guy? You know what I'm saying?
That's super dedicated.
And T-shirts and things of that nature. You know, I never really thought of music as a medium of, you know, past just the actual physical music part of it. You know, now I'm starting to venture off away from that and kind of, you know, I've always been a fan of art, a fan of film, a fan of, you know, paintings and things of that nature. Me and Amy are really big into paintings and stuff like that too. So, you know, I have friends who are artists, you know, like the guys at Visual Bluff and Civilian, and everybody around me is pretty much doing some kind of art. Christian, even though he won't answer my phone calls when it comes to music videos.
Is that true, Christian?
But so speaking of, you know, I know off air we had a conversation about like the artwork of like, you know, the Dead Raven, and you know, talk about you know, to the people, you know, who you got involved in creating that and the vision behind that and whatnot.
The guys at Kids in the Attic, definitely shout out to them. And Black Cloud, I kind of pitched the idea to him of what I wanted to do, because the original name of the album was actually supposed to be called Poetry Over Everything, I guess you will. But it seems so corny to me, you know, like why would I name my album that?
Yeah.
And then in that sense, like I was gonna have like little Edgar Allan Poe kind of, you know, little ideas and thoughts thrown within the album, but that didn't happen either. So after a while, I was just like, yo, I'm just going to let the people name it and the people come up with the ideas. And that's when it came in with the, well, what do I want the artwork to be? And originally it was going to just be blank, you know. But then I'm like, people aren't going to, you know, and I felt like it had already been done too. Like System of a Down as a rock band has done it before. I think Kanye West did it with what, Yeezus or something like that.
Yeah, it was just kind of a CD.
It's kind of a played out idea. So I thought, you know, sticking with the Poe idea, the Dead Raven, the whole Nevermore. I think I was talking with like a coworker or something like that, and they were like, "Yeah, I think you should do a Dead Raven." And I was like, you know what? That sounds good. That sounds good. And I pitched the idea to Oscar at Black Cloud, and he pitched the idea to Josh. And Josh, who goes by the Spooks on Instagram, good guy, man. He did the bird, and the rest is history, man. We put it on stickers and T-shirts and CDs and anything we possibly could. And that's kind of where it came from.
No, and even like with Dead Ravens, obviously they have a lot of symbolism, and you know it goes with your whole Halloween scary, you know, that whole vibe that you've had for a really long time. So it just seemed like it made sense.
Oh yeah,
even though it didn't have a name, but for sure. And then going back a little bit, I know you were talking about sending out 8x11s and doing more of the poster thing, and then you were talking about a kid who, we were talking a little bit off air about that kid that couldn't afford your stuff, or his parents wouldn't buy it. Can you talk a little bit about him?
I kind of got into a situation where somebody couldn't buy or afford my album, so I kind of just, you know, came up with like a little contest idea to kind of throw out you know, a couple free copies to the people who may not be able to afford them, and, you know, sign some photo copies of a photo done by my buddy Rob, who did the Norman video.
Nice.
And, you know, just, you know, some support for the people that always support me. You know what I mean? I think that's the biggest thing, is like there's not enough support for the people that support you. You know what I mean? You don't put enough emphasis into that. And I think that's where a loss of the culture comes. You know what I mean? It's like I hear it so much in the records and the lyrics of artists where, you know, they kind of put their fans down in a sense. Like the listeners, you listen to the song and you're like, are you putting me down as I sit here and listen to your record? Because I kind of want to throw your CD out in the street now. You know what I mean? So you kind of have that. Like I've heard lyrics from artists where they're like, you know, you're a fan in the stands and I'm up here looking like the man or whatever, you know, and it's just like, seriously, bro? Why am I even listening to you? Like giving you the time of day.
True. And then one of my favorite songs is obviously For Vegas. because you guys
Yeah.
have represented it from the beginning.
Definitely.
And I just liked how you talked about how, because I feel like Vegas is such a transient city. Like most
Oh, yeah.
people aren't natives. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Like everyone comes from another place, and they're always like, "Yeah, but I'm from LA though," or whatever. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
So why did you make that song?
For that specific reason right there. I think I was walking through like a grocery store or something, and that line was going through my head is the whole, I love Las Vegas, but since I was a kid, all I've heard is people growing up like talking so much hatred towards it. And it's just like, it's sad to hear when you're still here, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think that's the saddest part about it is I hear just a lot of people talking about it like it's a detriment to their health. Well, move, get away,
Seriously,
man.
though.
Go away. We don't want you here anyway.
That's what I would think when I listen to the track. Because, like, it makes you think about, like, how many people actually say that, like, for real.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, come on, yo, like.
A lot of people.
It's not,
Super common.
it's not, I guess it's just really trying to look at the positive of things, you know what I mean? Cause
It's like, oh, I'm from such and such. Okay, when did you live there? When I was 2 years old.
Right? Didn't
Okay, and
even
how
grow
long
up
have you been
there.
living in Las Vegas? For the last 12 years. Okay,
Yeah.
well, you're not from that place you said you're from.
yeah, and that's the thing, too, like, I'm one of, my parents moved here, like, early on, you know what I'm saying? I was here first grade, but,
Right.
since then, I was raised here, and I'm proud of it. Like,
Oh, yeah.
I wouldn't be who I am today if it weren't for growing up here.
Oh
So,
yeah, definitely. And
it's like-
I'm and to keep it real, like, and this is not to say anything negative about any other place. You know what I'm saying? Like, because
course.
I've lived in Long Beach with Amy. I've lived, in Northern California and Chico and Sacramento with my buddies like Illicism, and it really puts into perspective. It's like my hometown is a beautiful place,
Yeah.
man. I think that people fail to realize is like this is a beautiful hometown to have, like to represent, you know what I mean? And to be able to go outside of that place and represent this place. Like I've been in places like LA, like at parties where people are having nothing but a good time with a broken camera, like not broken, but it's dead, you know what I'm saying? And I'm walking around like, woohoo, we're from Vegas. And people like love us
True.
more than the people that are walking around like from LA, you know what I'm saying? So
exactly.
go somewhere else and mention Vegas, like I'm from Vegas, and people will literally like treat you like royalty.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
don't
They got
realize
that
it
look on
until
their
you
face.
go outside,
They're
though,
like,
you know what I'm saying?
You're from where? What?
What? No way. It must be amazing out there.
Yeah.
Even if you don't indulge in that lifestyle, you could lie about that.
You can lie.
Yeah.
You could be like, yeah, I club every night, y'all. Like, straight up. I party. I get a bottle of Ace of Spades for free every single night because I'm just that dude in Las Vegas. You know what I'm saying? But people from outside of Las Vegas, that's how they look at you. You know, they respect people from Las Vegas. You know what I mean? You go to, like, someplace like Indiana where there's... you have to, shut down your bar at like 12 o'clock or something
Exactly.
like that. You know what I mean? They're looking at you from Las Vegas like, what? So you mean to tell me you get to drink until like 5 in the morning? I
So are
can
you
drink
gonna-
at 6 o'clock in the morning when I wake up if I want to.
Right? All night.
By the way,
24
I
hour.
don't drink at all. So it's just like, that just adds fuel to that flame, man.
The real
So,
fuel to the flame.
Can we expect a video for that track?
For the Vegas track,
Yes.
it's possible. Yeah.
Christian, maybe you should handle that.
That
I
would
feel
be
like
awesome,
some- I feel
Kirsten.
something
The
cool
first
happening
one,
right here.
especially since T-Rab's in your corner now.
There we go. There we go.
No, for real though, if I could get if I could get that to happen, that would be awesome. X lives in LA right now, so it'd probably be a little complicated to get all three parties in the same room. But if we could, that would be lovely, and I think that would be a good look for the city.
I think so too, most definitely. And then going back to like the music, it's always been you know your vibe is very mysterious. But can you talk about like the state of mind that you are in when you made the music for this album?
Oh, all over the place.
All over?
For instance, like the intro, all I ever wanted to do is rap.
Yeah.
It's kind of like
That
a
was the sick.
poem, you know what I mean? Like I wrote that with like 30 different stanzas with the same kind of line at the end of it. You know, all I ever wanted to do was rap. I did this and this and this and that, but all I ever wanted to do is rap.
Yeah.
You know, it kind of came off almost like a Shel Silverstein, type of poem where I'm just like at every single end of every little stanza it'd be like that, but all I ever wanted to do was rap. And I just pulled the best, in my opinion, like 6 out of the bunch and put those into like the song. And I basically just played those 2 chord progressions back to back over and over again until it was, you know, a song. And then that state of mind I was in was kind of just like nostalgic, you know what I mean, as far as writing was going, like pulling memories out, like, you know, back when my dad was driving me around his little 89, you know, 3 Series. You know what I'm saying? And he had this little Rockford Fosgate like set of like, I think it was like 15-inch subwoofers in the trunk, you know. That was my introduction to rap music, you know, Snoop Dogg, Doggy Style in my dad's car. That was my introduction to rap music. If it wasn't for that, I probably wouldn't be rapping, y'all. Like, keep it real.
Was your dad was bumping Doggy Style?
Oh, yeah. I could definitely attribute a majority of my influence to music to my father, and I think that's why I talk about him so much in my music.
I know you mentioned that record. You mentioned so many different funny things, like even like the writing better than your, you know,
That's
your
what I was
professors.
gonna bring up.
Yeah.
So can you talk a little
I'm
bit
writing
about
better
that?
than my professors, nonetheless. I'm
Yes.
just trying to rap. Like, it's kind of just to say, you know, I remember back in like 7th grade turning in like this poetry packet, and my teacher at the time, who ended up becoming my teacher in I think 10th or 11th grade again at Mojave. Like from Gibson to Mojave, weird, you know what I mean?
Random.
Same dude. And my poetry packet was probably filled with rapping and all kinds of stuff that, you know, typically wouldn't be in a 7th grader's poetry packet. And I think it just set me apart from the bunch. It made him look at me differently. You know, 9th, 10th grade, I came back and I was in his English class and I did some like rap over a beat for a project. And he freaked out over that, and then I became his student.
Freaked out.
Yeah, and I became a student, not in a negative way, like kind of a good thing.
Okay.
And then like senior year, I was his student aide, like student teacher aide or whatever.
Yeah.
And he like brought it out for his class, like, yo, he did this, like, you know what I mean?
Oh,
And
that's so cute.
it was pretty tight, you know. It was something where I had flipped Led Zeppelin's "Stairway to Heaven" and messed around with some.
Wow.
It was cool. It was
At
cool.
15 or whatever age, teenager.
Yeah, I think I was like 15, 16 when we did that. It was pretty cool. Yeah.
That's crazy. That's
but
super
always,
cool.
you know what I mean? Always in writing and everything like that. But, you know, I went to college for like journalism.
Whoop, whoop.
What?
And what
more
did
so
you
on a not broadcast so much, but more so on the writing side of it, and for lack of a better time length for story wise, you know, basically the professor told me, you know, oh, we're about to cut the curriculum, you know, and this was at CSN.
Okay.
Back like 2007, 2008. And right then and there, I was just like, you know what? You know, I got like 3 jobs. You know, I'm trying to support myself. I'm not here for this. I'm over here wasting money. I'm just dumping my money into somebody's pockets that probably could care less if I'm even taking these courses or not. I'm done. I'm out. And I kind of got over college. And I'm not saying that to say anything about college students at all. I mean, by all means, study and get your work on. Your struggle on.
Yeah, really.
That's the real truth.
The real struggle is in these college students, y'all. You don't know real struggle until you've been a college student.
Man, so 3 jobs, huh?
Oh
And
man,
still
when I was
balancing music and
trying to be a, you know, college student too, and it wasn't working out.
wow.
Yeah, I was working at like a summer camp. I worked at like Journeys, and I also worked with my dad at this spot called European Motor Cars. You know, I was a porter, so I was like washing cars, moving cars, but, you know, I was driving around, you know, Porsches and Beamers and Jaguars every day. You know, it was pretty awesome.
No, that's super cool. And a lot of people don't know, or maybe some people do, your story about, you know, when you spent some time in California and when you were assigned for a short amount of time. And can you just elaborate on what happened with that and what brought you back to Las Vegas? Why did you come back to the city?
To be honest with you, work.
Work.
You know, day job work. I ain't talking about like rapping work. I mean like day job work. Like, if you've ever been to California, like, it is so hard to get a regular job out there.
I'm sure.
Like, paying you 40 hours a week, like, real job. Like, it's not out there. Like, that's a job for a person who's working with a salary above 50K, who moves there because that opportunity is there, promised. You know what I'm saying? That people move out there and they either struggle or they're rich. You know what I'm saying? There is no in between.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Especially when I was living in Long Beach, I could see a lot of that. You either live in a really poor area where you're struggling, and you're paying a lot of money for that too. You know what I'm saying? Sure. Places where you're buying like a 2-bedroom apartment and you're paying rent that's like almost in the 2,000 range, and I'm over here in a 3-bedroom house with central heating and air for like 900.
Yep.
To think that we live in a world where classism is that real, like classism is realer than racism right now. Yeah. And people just don't know it. You know what I mean? That's masking racism is masking the real problem, and that is classism. You know what I mean? People don't see that. You know, someone living in Beverly Hills, which is literally like blocks away from Normandy, is, you know, living the fabulous life while that man on Normandy is struggling, you know, to keep food on his kid's plate. You know what I'm saying? So.
Oh, definitely. And then I just wanted to hand it off back to Christian when you were talking about the quality of the music.
Oh yeah, so
he was going crazy when we were listening.
Yeah,
to
so
it.
Like even prior, like so you know, I was like, yo, the engineer. It always sounds dope in general, but
appreciate.
So first and foremost, to everyone who doesn't know, but they probably do. You know,
know.
Of course, Trade, you know, produced the entire project.
Yes.
You know, the thick and thin. So there, you know, there's so many tracks off of here that like. You know, you say a lot. One of the notable standouts to me that, you know, my personal favorite, we talked about it, track 4, you know, it's very, you know, you have a first whole part of the record and then the second part, you know, the switch up and whatnot in terms of production. But you know, you're talking about a lot of stuff on there, man, in terms of, you know, and it brings me back nostalgic wise, you know, talking about, you know, the fort and even, you know, all of, you know, how things used to be, you know, a couple years back and whatnot. Yeah. It's crazy how time flies. That's what I got to tell people, you know what I mean? But I know, you know, there's so many other references and other records, you know what I mean, in terms of you applying these experiences into the music and stuff. So, like, I mean, I just wanted to see what you'd have to say in terms of noting, you know, all of that.
Definitely. It's crazy. The album has a lot of different topics, and I think that's why I steered away from the whole Poe idea in the first place. Because the elements there, they jump all over the place. It starts off and it's kind of in a, you know, more of an energetic, anthemic kind of feel. And then it goes into this like somber, dark place that a lot of people are unsure of. They're like, oh, you know, like Norman. Norman's a record where, I mean, obviously it's homage to the Psycho, Alfred Hitchcock stuff. Yes. But, I mean, on Two Dope Boys, some lady
I was about to say that comment was funny to me because I'm like, what?
I was looking at it.
Tell them about, like, the comment and what you thought.
Some lady basically commented on, like, the fact that, like, you know, the murder of women or whatever, you know, more violence towards women, you know, topic. And while I you know, I don't condone violence towards women at all.
Of course.
I mean, definitely Amy can, you know, understand that, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not that guy, right? I'm totally not that guy at all. I'm actually a really nice guy, you know, at the end of the day. No, it kind of baffles me that people can't be open-minded about a song topic.
It was a song topic.
Rap music is so pigeonholed, man. Like, rap music itself cannot have an imagination. Like, I see that so much in your Kevin Gates and your, not to say these names and diss them, because in all honesty, but like, they have to stay on a level of inferiority, I guess you will, because people just can't understand topics of realness outside of. It's not me condoning the act. It's me speaking on the act because it's there. Yes, it is real. You know what I mean? Yes, there are people out there that are this creepy. Yeah. And maybe I am talking on this subject because of that. You know what I'm saying? Maybe it's about awareness more than, you know, like I always bring up Roald Dahl. You know who Roald Dahl is?
I'm not familiar.
No.
He wrote Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, the BFG. Roald Dahl. He's old, I think, Italian or so. I think he's Italian if I'm not, you know, he's a writer though, right? Okay. Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, right? A lot of people, this might bug you out right now.
Oh gosh.
Do you know what that story's about?
Nah, I've never looked into it like really in depth in terms of...
Now think about it this way. They go into this stranger's candy factory, and they all of a sudden all start to disappear one after the other, right? Now, take that into consideration.
Dun, dun.
What is that story really about? Taking candy from strangers. No matter who that stranger is, Willy Wonka or, Joe Schmo off the street, are you really putting your children in safe hands by allowing them to take candy from strangers?
Yeah.
That's kind of what the story is. A lot of people don't realize that, though. You know what I'm saying? It's almost like that awareness,
Yeah, I feel you, man. And it's the weird, how that's depicted in that sense. You don't think about it too much, but
Right.
But no, I definitely see what you're saying in terms of rap being
Songwriting, yeah,
and
definitely
songs
songwriting as a whole.
and, yeah, like, geez.
You can visit them online at alittlewhitechapel.com. Wishing everyone a safe and happy summer season. They're on the air because they care.
Tune into Future Sound every Saturday night at 11 p.m. only on KUNV 91.5.
There's something you should know.
Yeah, it's intermission time again. I'm like 2 bottles of Merlot in. I go by a couple names. My mom calls me Dom. And I know you've been waiting, wondering when we was coming back.
All right, sorry about that minor interruption, you guys. We're having a few technical difficulties, but just to wind it back, we were talking about Charlie and the Chocolate Factory and a true meaning. Dropping knowledge over here.
Coming back.
Definitely.
Bring it back.
I don't know how far we got with that conversation, but
and then just heading back into it, talk about like the features that you had. Obviously, you had
Definitely.
T-Rab, X,
Jab Tawa.
I don't know how
Jab
to say
Tawa,
his-
yeah.
Yes.
And
Jab
even
Tawa on the
Rob
chorus.
Falco too.
Yeah, Rob Falco, that's my dude, white homie. Yeah, what's crazy is like I enjoy his energy, man. I think he's a very energetic soul, and I think that people aren't ready for it yet, but he'll be one of the next ones on the scene to really like mash out with Vegas. Like Vegas is gonna see a really good personality with that one, and just like Jerry Scheinfeld, like
Jerry Scheinfeld.
just wait till y'all hear this kid, man. Like the energy in this kid is
Who is
ridiculous. Jerry Scheinfeld,
Shout out
we
to
know
the
him
gods.
as SB, yeah, the gods,
Oh, okay, I know who that
Thelonious.
is. Okay.
Thelonious.
Thelonious too, man. They both like they just have this crazy energy that a lot of people haven't had a chance to hear yet, and I
You
think
can see it in their performances, man.
Oh, yeah.
Turn up, like
T Rab, like the reason why I added T Rab to that record and X for that matter is the fact that they're seeing it from outside looking in. You know what I mean? It's like Rab went, with you. I think you went with him, right, out of town and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we're all kind of making these little strives or whatever. He was able to go out to Africa.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And kind of talk to them about Vegas. And even then, like, he kind of elaborates on his experience. Same thing with X. He's like, I think the last couple of lines on his X's verses, he's like, I'm on my way out to Cali, still looking over my shoulder, knowing I do this for Vegas. That's what it's all about, y'all. At the end of the day, we may be moving around and trying to go to different cities and different states to try to make it.
Yeah,
But what people fail to realize is like in learning about California, I mean, if we can go back to that topic,
Yeah, of course.
California is like its own little country, man.
For real.
You know what I'm saying? You could make it in
Yes.
California.
Yes.
If you really like try to move around California, you really could make it out there. And I think that's what a lot of people fail to realize is like, there's that stigma behind, I think it's like New York, where it's like, if you can make it here, you can make it anywhere.
Yeah.
I don't believe that.
Oh no, definitely not.
I believe that's a quote best made for Vegas, because Vegas is probably one of the most hardest places.
Bro, and you already know years and years of,
Oh, man.
of knowing how that is, man.
Experience will tell you, man. I know people that are OGs out here in Vegas that have been doing this for years,
Ever.
and they're stuck. You know what I mean? They're stuck. They'll until something comes along
Yeah.
that pushes them to the next venture.
Why do you think that is?
Stagnant, people being stagnant.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Do you think it's like the culture of the
I
city
feel like
itself,
having this
or-
conversation every time. Like
Every time, yeah.
Of course, but it's
That's exactly what it
it's
is, though.
crazy.
Is it's stagnant behavior. People who don't move gradually
Yeah.
up, they kind of just stay in the same lane sometimes you got to get out your lane.
Yeah.
Oh, of course.
And even on top of that, like, I always have this conversation, but I feel like it's always important to acknowledge it because it's definitely relevant in terms of, especially the music industry in here. Like,
Vegas heads don't move around enough because we don't have enough places to move around to.
Yeah, exactly.
I think that's the biggest issue. Is Nevada is small.
Yeah.
Nevada has Reno and Las Vegas. We're not going to do shows in Laughlin, y'all.
Yeah.
Maybe Lake Tahoe or something like that. But I mean, you're not going to these different places. I mean, the next closest place would be like Arizona or California.
True.
Yeah.
Sometimes we might do shows in Utah, Washington. You know what I mean? These, the West Coast is really where it's at. And I want to move around the West Coast. You know what I'm saying? Maybe next year do South by Southwest. You know what I'm saying? I want to move around though. I think that's the issue is we've been too stagnant. You know what I mean? A lot of us.
That's really interesting because you see that a lot. You really do, and it is hard to come up in Vegas.
I've done almost every venue here in Vegas. I don't need to do it again and again and again and again and again.
Yeah, those limited few venues, man. Like that's.
I love the venues out here, and I love the support. By all means, any venue that has ever showed me love, like I'm 100% like, yo, thank you for giving me the benefit of the doubt, man. Because you could have picked any other artist in Vegas, and you picked me. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, it's like I know what's causing the detriment of the Las Vegas music scene is the fact that look at people like Imagine Dragons, dude.
Yep.
They're not sitting in Las Vegas all day making music, dog.
Yeah.
And that's not even in the rap game, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
but they're
just
from Vegas. Look at
the
the Killers.
biggest art, and the Killers too. A lot of people forget like that they're from here, and I'm like,
man, I had an opportunity to almost buy their studio, like back in the day, back in like 2011, right before we started running out the fort.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Now you have to elaborate on that. What?
It was a weird little business situation that kind of fell through. The dude that originally owned it was getting ready to move to San Francisco, and we were me and a couple of other bodies were about to put the money up to probably own the place, but everything fell through in the end.
Happens for a reason.
Hey man,
and
I'm not mad.
And speaking of you performing and stuff, so this Ghostface Killer.
Can
you talk about like your influence, if you have any, from Wu-Tang and
how you're
feeling
definitely
about performing at this? Because this is a really good venue too.
Oh yeah, definitely. This is my first time at Brooklyn Bowl, so this is gonna be a good look. Ghostface, I could definitely tell you, I've always followed Ghostface's catalog since Iron Man, like straight up. Like I've always been a Ghostface fan. Like he's probably one of my favorite next to ODB members of the Wu-Tang Clan. So. Definitely. I even like Bulletproof Wallets. A lot of people don't say that in real life, but I love that record. I think Ghostface is an amazing artist. Storytelling wise, man, is killing it. Supreme Clientele is like one of the best albums of all time. So like top 5 of all time, rock and roll, rap and polka, all that. Like he wins, you know what I'm saying?
No, definitely. And then I just lost my train of thought. I'm so sorry.
Oh, you good.
But with Ghostface, how did that come about? Was it, through your connection with Marion, because he's performing there as well? Or did they reach out to you? How did that come about?
They did reach out to me, but not short of Marion telling me it was because of him. But yeah, Marion definitely threw the ball there, and I appreciate Marion to the max, man, because he's been a dude that I've respected since like high school time. So, as long as I've been in it, he's been in it. You know what I mean? We've been in the trenches together and this stuff.
There you go.
Yeah. Doing rap, it's hard out here in Vegas, so whenever someone can pass the ball, it's always a lovely day, for Vegas to kind of community-wise, like kind of, hey man, I got this situation over here, yo, let's holla, you know what I mean? Let's get it popping. All right, for sure, let's get it. You know what I mean? You never know what that might, bloom into. You never know.
For sure. And then speaking of venues again, Yayo's Tacos. Like before, when you came here today.
Yeah.
It's gone. So how do you feel about that?
That's
And talk
epic.
about your history with that venue.
That's crazy because that's really one of the first like little hole in the wall joints we used to do shows at.
Yeah, kill-off shows.
Yeah. The first kill-off show ever was there. So R.I.P. to the Yayo Taco because that was a good little. I mean, because it was like tight knit. It was like a little tight area. So like it always got really cracking. It was
perfect.
I remember.
Shed a tear.
I remember having, asking for a ride, like, from Jab or Rap. I'd be like, yo, hey, I got to get to the show. Can you pick me up? Like, we gotta
Right.
Right? That's what I was saying, too. Like, 15 years old, like, Dad, can you please take me to this place?
Oh,
It's
man.
across from UNLV.
Oh, man. It was a good
Those
spot,
were fun.
man.
They were really fun.
Always.
I miss those. I really do.
Oh, man.
And
We're
then-
going to miss the Yayo taco.
And the tacos were really good, too.
Oh, yeah.
Just saying, and cheap.
Oh, yeah.
So just to like sum up everything, I know that you said you wanted to start dropping music every Saturday the 14th.
Yeah, that's kind of like the national holiday now, international holiday.
National trade holiday.
Yeah, the Voorhees holiday. Y'all better be ready for it. Saturday the 14th. Coming knocking on your door with a CD in my hand, like, I'm gonna slice your mom. No, I'm just playing.
And then we are expecting another project possibly in November. Can you talk about that?
Well, originally the idea was to do the iTunes release on November 14th of this project, but we'll see how it all works out. But yeah, most likely there's going to be another project in the works before November 14th, so that I can drop it on November the 14th. So,
Wow, that's awesome. Awesome. Well, those were all the things that I had. Did you have anything you wanted to add, Christian? It's just an honor to have you here.
Yeah, it was just happy.
It really is. Trade like makes me nervous when it comes. I'm like, I gotta get my stuff together.
You see how fast, how long? We just wrapped up a 6-minute interview.
I didn't even realize
out here.
the time.
Yeah, I'm like, dang, conversations go by for real.
They do.
yeah,
They really
definitely.
do. So I do want to get into these tracks.
Oh, yeah.
One of my favorites. I like them all, but one of my favorites for Vegas, being a native from Vegas. So if you could
Definitely.
just give us a little flavor of that, do a little
Yeah.
intro, whatever you feel. Whatever's
yeah,
on
this
your
is
heart.
track 2 off the new album. Features X, and he's from KWG, and then we got T-Rab from the Kill Off fame. And it's me, and we just kind of elaborate on loving Vegas and being a part of it and repping it to the fullest.
All right, here we go. Ill Vibe, keep it locked.
I love you, Las Vegas. Since I was in grade school, everybody been hating. Talking about how they from other cities, but always claiming, and it's like 20 years later, and I'm like, why the y'all staying there? Y'all talking about the traffic, but let's get one thing clear. Y'all from other cities, but y'all the mall driving here. I'm just saying it. It's like tragic beauty. I love the city of bright lights, and y'all talk like it's the saddest movie. You can f the baddest cutie, still it's whacking, losing, criticizing instead of analyzing. Just move it. I rap this city like it's really on my back. I've been telling the whole world that Vegas on the map. I do this shit for Vegas. I do this shit for Vegas. I run around other cities and do this shit for Vegas. I do this shit for Vegas. I do this shit for Vegas. I run around other cities and do this shit for Vegas. I said, I ain't gotta be the greatest. It ain't about being famous. People see me and they say, yo, it's Voorhees. What up?
Welcome to Vegas, home of the wealthy and famous. Hot as hell, we embrace it. Somehow I felt it was sacred. Yet I'm smelling this hatred come from all kind of directions. They try and tell you you wasted all of this time you invested. Please, kick rocks, then the leaves. Just not in my city streets. We up when your city sleeps. Is it me, or does it seem we getting closer and closer? I'm on my way out to Cali, still looking over my shoulder, knowing
I do this shit for Vegas. I do this shit for Vegas. I run around other cities and do this shit for Vegas. I do this shit for Vegas. I do this shit for Vegas. I run around other cities and do this shit for Vegas. I said, I ain't gotta be the greatest. It ain't about being famous. People see me and they say,
hey yo, it's X month. I heard they re-released Today Lies. That brought me back to day one. When I was getting started, now I'm top 5 regardless. Born and raised in the city. Made my name in the city. Come from around the world to spend 2 days in my city. And I just landed from Kenya. The vibe out there amazing. Tried to tell them about my homeland, but they been heard about Vegas. They heard about the strip and how at night it shine the greatest. This one of the world's capitals. You gotta embrace it. That's why
I do this shit for Vegas. I do this shit for Vegas. I run around other cities and do this shit for Vegas.
money making rap. What's up?
Right.
What's up, everyone? You're still tuned into Ill Vibe Theory, your number one source for underground hip-hop and R&B in the Las Vegas Valley. We still got Vegas legend Trade Voorhees in the building. If you could just introduce this next track for us.
Yeah. The next joint is called Norman. Track 5, actually, off the new album. And it's basically an ode to Hitchcock. Yeah.
And we got a nice video for that as well, right?
Oh, yeah.
Where can they find that?
Directed by Rob Sayer. You could either get it at youtube.com/a-good-break, or you can get that at tradevoorhees.com/video.
All right, let's get into it. Norman by Trade Voorhees.
Yeah.
I've been all alone all day. These problems of mine just won't go away. You've been roaming through my mind all day. You could have been mine, but you've gone away. You've gone away. You see, I'm Norman, she's normal, we normal. Mama always taught your boy to be formal. I love the ladies and the ladies love me, except I can't let that be, cause she won't let that be. But see, I really don't know what happens, it's quite peculiar. See, I'ma fall in love, my mama is gonna kill ya. I'm a nice guy, and I really love my mother. We a happy family, see, we both have love for each other. As for the ladies, see, I take pictures of them, and I don't rub them with weapons, but don't touch them. Really, see, I don't love them. Well, I show them a little love, and then I'm done. I've been all alone all day. These problems of mine just won't go away. You've been roaming through my mind all day. You could have been mine, but you've gone away. You've gone away. Girls innocent coming up missing under my kitchen in the basement, right up under the floor. And there's a couple of bodies in a coat closet where the knob is broken so you can't open the door. What for, you ask? Well, I'm not sure. Maybe it's bad habits wrapped in plastic that define the fine lines that I've crossed. When I stop being ignored, to act normal, I should win a no war. I've been all alone all day. These problems of mine just won't go away. You've been roaming through my mind all day.
Hey, what's up, y'all? It's Trey Voorhees. It was good speaking with y'all today on Ill Vibe Theory Radio. Shout out to Christian. Shout out to Kaylin. Shout out to the homie that couldn't be here today. You know, I got you a CD, homie, if you're listening. It's all good. It's all good. Shout out to Amy. She in the house today. Shout out to In-N-Out. You know what I'm saying? That pink lemonade slapping. Hey, if you don't have my CD, man, www.tradevoorhees.com. Go check that out. You can't have a t-shirt because they're sold out. Sorry. You can go buy that poster, though. Go see that Furious 7. Even though I ain't got nothing to do with that.
What about that April 13th?
And April 13th, come see me and Ghostface and the homie Marion Wright and the homie Raekwon, and let's get crunk with it. Yeah, Raekwon and Ghostface. Yeah, we about to get it. Kaylin, you better be there.
Have to be in there for real.
Hey, Brooklyn Bowl though, April 13th, and if you can't make it to Brooklyn Bowl on the 13th because you broke, hey, make it out to Recognizing Real on the 18th because we gonna get it even more crunk there, and that's a free show and it's all ages. So even for our kids that can't get out there on the 13th, I don't even know if it's a all ages show, the Ghostface show. I think it's like 18 and over, 18. But. If you can't make it out to that and you a kid, then come out on the 18th and we'll get it cracking with y'all at Recognizing Real, for real.
Well, thank you so much for coming out. It's always a pleasure having you. It's been
Definitely.
a minute since we had you, like maybe a year.
I think
and
so.
You came with Bryce, so
yep.
It's been a long time. So thank you so much for coming out. And Trade is about to peace out.
Yep, definitely. Hey, y'all, thank you for having me. Everybody out there listening, thank you for listening. And I'll be out. www.TradeVoorhees.com. You can find me on Instagram, Twitter, Trade Voorhees. If you don't know how to spell it, TRADE space V on Google. And you should be able to find me pretty easy there.
Perfect. You're a natural
for
at
real.
this.
Hey, let's get it.
All right, we're going to keep the music going. Ill vibe. Keep it locked.